Hi! Today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful sunset crochet bracelet. This bracelet uses our crochet beaded rope technique and combines size 8 seed beads to create this beautiful beaded bangle bracelet. So for the supplies that you're going to need to make this bracelet, we're going to use size 8 seed beads here, and I've picked out 6 colors in kind of a gradiated color scheme. We've got a silver lined alabaster purple plum, a galvanized pink blush, a silver lined alabaster papaya, a galvanized hot pink, silver lined alabaster light berry ice, galvanized eggplant. And these are all in the Miyuki Duracoat colors, and so they're nice and color fast. We're also going to be using a pearl cotton thread, and this is the number 8 size in the dark lavender. Our bead crochet hook is the tulip number 0, and it's a 1.75 millimeter crochet hook. To get our beads on our string, we're going to be using a twisted steel wire needle here, and that has a nice collapsible eye, which allows your beads to get onto your thread easily. And to sew up our bangle, once we've stitched it all together, we're going to be using some of the tulip tapestry needles. And I've just got a nice pair of scissors here to cut our thread when we're all done. All right, let's get started. Alright, so to start our sunset crochet bracelet, the first thing you need to do is to string up all your beads. So on our inspiration page, you will be able to print out this pattern, and you'll need to string up your beads in this order. So to read this bead chart, how you want to read it, this is one continuous bracelet pattern, just broken up so it can fit onto the page and it's nice and large so you can read it. But down here, this lower left bead is row 1. So this is where you're going to want to start stringing row 1 to all the way up to row 90. And so I've already pre-strung my beads here, and you'll just want to go ahead and follow this pattern to get all your beads on your string. Remember, with bead crochet, do not cut your thread before or during when you are stringing up your beads. You want your thread to remain on your spool. If you need just written instructions, there are also written instructions too, where you can follow along, and there's a key to which beads are which. So go ahead and string up all of your beads, and I'll meet you right back here. All right, let's get started. So you've pre-strung all of your beads, and we're ready to start our beaded crochet rope bracelet. So this bracelet is going to be using a beaded crochet rope of 6 around, and so we'll get started by making a 6 bead chain to start our bracelet, and then we'll connect it to start our tubular shape rope. So you want to leave about a 6 to 8 inch, well, maybe an 8 to 12 inch tail, because we use this to sew up the bracelet at the end. So go ahead and leave about an 8 inch to 12 inch tail, and then we're going to make a slip stitch. So just wrap the thread around your fingers and pull up through that loop to make a little slip stitch. We're going to slide our crochet hook in there. And then we're going to bring up a few beads. And we'll start by bringing one bead up to the slip stitch, yarn over your thread around your crochet hook, and pull through the loop on the thread, and that starts your chain. We're going to do that 5 more times to create a 6 bead chain. So pull a bead up, yarn over, and pull the loop off. And we're just going to keep on doing that until we have a 6 bead chain. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to connect this by going underneath that first bead that we made the chain with. In this case, it's nice because it's that a different color. It's that bright orange. So now I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to pull up another bead and nestle it in between the 2 beads there on the hook. I'm going to yarn over, catch that new yarn, and pull off the other 2, and that's connecting our loop together. And then we're just going to continue on crocheting. So I'm going under the next bead, pushing that bead back, pulling a new bead up in between, yarn over, and pulling through. I'm going to continue to do that all the way around. So push under that next bead, push it towards the back of my crochet hook, pull a new bead up, yarn over, and pull off the 2 loops. And we're just going to continue to do this around. And if you need a tutorial or a slower start, you can go and look at our bead crochet technique tutorial that will show you how to get this started a little bit slower. So it will take about 3 to 4 rows before this is starting to look really tube shape. So keep working your way around. Until you have about 4 rows, and then it should start to look more like it's tube shape. Okay, so you can start to see it's kind of coming together and looking a little bit more tubular. And we're going to go ahead and continue working on just crocheting all of these beads up. Now this pattern makes about a 7-inch bangle, but if you need it to be any longer, you can add solid color rows to add in. So if you added, there's 6 colors in this bracelet, if you added 6 solid color rows to this bracelet, it would add about a 1/2 inch. So if you need a little bit of a larger bracelet, you can add in solid color rows in all of the solid color spaces along the way in the bracelet. And I've noted which rows you can add on the pattern so that if you need a larger bracelet, you can do that. Or if you need a smaller bracelet, you can take out solid color rows along the way, and that shouldn't change kind of the gradiated pattern colorway in the bracelet. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on crocheting here. Okay, and I'm just going to keep on crocheting, you keep on crocheting, and we'll meet back and I'll show you how to zip it all up to make your nice bangle shape. Okay, so we've finished crocheting our bracelet and we're ready to make it into a bangle. So where you ended off, you want to go ahead and cut another 8 to 12 inch tail. So I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors and just cut a tail. And with your last loop that you have, you're just going to pull that tail through, and that is going to tighten that up. That'll create a little knot there at the end. So then we are going to take our tapestry needle and thread our needle onto our beginning end, and we're going to sew right straight into the middle of the tube on the other side. So that'll start the connection here on the other side. You want to come down about an inch, a half an inch to an inch in to the bracelet. Now I'm going to take my tapestry needle off of that side and we'll move it over to our finished, our end where we ended, and we just turned off our knot. And you want to match up your ends. We started with this orange bead right here and we ended with this tallest bead over here, so we just want to make sure that those are going to come together and match up here. I'll just tighten that. And we're just going to zigzag stitch back and forth from one side of the bracelet to the other, and that will sew the ends together. So I'm going to start by going underneath the thread that is on my orange bead on the beginner side. And I'm just going to put my needle right under there and tighten that guy up. And then we're going to come over here to not the tallest bead where we ended, but the one next to that. So it's right there. And sew that guy up. And then we're just going to move around the bracelet, going back and forth, zigzagging from side to side, stitching up our final end. And you don't have to pull too tight. You still want the bracelet to move around a little bit. You don't want the beads to be tucked in there. So just kind of a nice natural tension as you're sewing this together. And I just kind of keep rotating the bracelet so that the bead that I'm stitching up next is on top. And you're just catching underneath one side, and then as you're going underneath on the other side, that is going to flip the bead into its side position so that it matches up with the one across from it. Okay, and we've gone ahead and sewn up the whole bracelet, and now we're just going to sew back through the bracelet this way with our thread here, and you just want to stick your needle in where you finish sewing. You can kind of feel the center of the tube and sew down it until your needle comes out, and just keep stitching down a little bit, and that will finish off your thread. Just go one more. Okay, and then you can cut that tail off. And then on this starting thread, I'm just going to do the same, just sew back down the inside of the tube a little bit further, just to kind of reinforce and bury the thread a little bit more. Cut that final thread off and you're all done. You've created your sunset crochet bracelet. Now we also have created this bracelet in another colorway, and this is the Seabreeze color bracelet. So you can use the same pattern and tutorial to make this in any colors that you want. So go ahead and play around. You just need 6 different colors of seed beads and you can make a fun kind of gradiated color bracelet. You can find all the supplies to make this bracelet at fusionbeads.com.